How did a series of anonymous letters escalate into one of the biggest unsolved murder cases? Today, we delve into a mystery that has plagued the investigators for over 5 decades. This is the story of the Circleville Letters Mystery.
For nearly 2 decades, an anonymous letter writer terrorized people in Circleville, exposing the secrets of neighbors and friends with a flood of threatening letters.
Blackmail, intrigue, and death threats. Circleville, Ohio, was a peaceful town known for its annual pumpkin show and where people felt safe and content. Yet, beneath this idyllic facade lay a sinister secret that would shatter the peace of this community. In 1976, the first anonymous letter arrived. It was addressed to Mary Gillespie, a local bus driver employed by the Westfall School District. Accusations of an affair with school superintendent Gordon Massey, a married man, sent shockwaves through her life. The letter bore a mysterious postmark from Columbus, 25 miles away, and carried no return address. Signed only as the Circleville Writer, it contained a chilling message. "I know where you live. I've been observing your house and know you have children. This is no joke. Please take it seriously." Imagine the fear that gripped Mary, a wife and mother, as she read those menacing words. Who was behind this cruel harassment, and what was their motive? The letters kept coming, relentlessly tormenting, but Mary initially kept them hidden from her husband. That was until he, too, became a target. The anonymous writer told Ron Gillespie that his wife was involved with Massey and demanded action. When Mr. Gillespie hesitated, the threats took a more ominous turn. "Gillespie, you have had 2 weeks and done nothing. You were a pig. Make her admit the truth and inform the school board. If not, I will broadcast it on CB, posters, signs, and billboards until the truth comes out." The threats extended to the school's vice principal, who also found themselves embroiled in this web of allegations. The writer promised to provide proof about Mary's involvement, but failed to deliver. Yet, a crucial detail emerged. The author knew Mary's driver number, suggesting a connection to the school. Meanwhile, Gordon Massey also found himself at the receiving end of these mysterious letters. The writer threatened to slash his tires and cut his brakes if he didn't end the alleged affair. Soon, the mysterious author escalated their campaign by involving Gillespie's 12-year-old daughter, Tracy, in their evil letters. Shockingly, the accusations turned even grimmer, alleging that Gordon Massey was sexually abusing the young girl. And, to compound the horror, these letters contained explicit death threats. Out of desperation, Gillespie's turned over the evidence to the sheriff's office. Law enforcement sprung into action, wiretapping phones, conducting surveillance, and desperately collaborating with the Postal Service to intercept the malicious letters. Yet their efforts yielded no clues, leaving the identity of their Circleville writer shrouded in mystery. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update from our channel. What had initially targeted the Gillespie family and Gordon Massey had now spread like a virus, affecting numerous other Circleville residents. The mail, always postmarked from Columbus, had unleashed terror on the town. Who was this faceless tormentor, seemingly privy to the town's darkest secrets? As anxiety and dissatisfaction with law enforcement's fruitless efforts mounted, the Gillespies turned to Ron's sister and brother-in-law, Karen and Paul Freshour. They shared the harrowing letters they had received and sought the Freshour's assistance in unmasking the sinister author. For Karen and Paul, an answer appeared crystal clear: David Longberry. Longberry, a fellow bus driver alongside Mary, had persistently made advances toward her, only to face rejection every time. The Freshours believed it was entirely plausible that Longberry nursed a bitter grudge, seeking revenge for Mary's refusals. Moreover, he was uniquely positioned to know Mary's driver number. Fueled by their conviction, Paul and Karen confronted Longberry with a letter, accusing him of being the source of the hate mail and sternly warning him to cease his actions. Strangely, following this confrontation, the anonymous letters stopped for a time. Mary and Ron breathed relief, thinking that perhaps their torment had reached its end. Little did they know that the worst was yet to come. As the torment continued to escalate, the letters briefly ceased, only to be replaced by inflammatory signs that appeared along Mary's daily bus route. These signs carried the same allegations as the notes, but now they were publicly displayed. The Gillespie's concern deepened, especially for their daughter, Tracy, who was frequently mentioned in these hateful messages. In August of 1977, Mary decided to take a trip to Florida with her sister to escape the relentless torment that had haunted her for the past year. With Mary away, Ron was left to face the terror campaign alone. The Gillespie household received a phone call on the fateful evening of August 19th. Tracy overheard her father's heated exchange with the unidentified caller, whom Ron believed was the Circleville letter writer. Intent on confronting this mysterious adversary, Ron took his .22 caliber revolver and hurriedly left in his 1971 Ford pickup truck. Just 50 minutes later, a shocking discovery was made. A wrecked truck crashed into a tree at the end of the road. Tragically, Ron, who hadn't been wearing a seatbelt, was found lifeless inside the vehicle. What made this even more puzzling was the revelation that a shot had been fired from Ron's revolver, yet neither a bullet hole nor the bullet itself was found, only the casing. Furthermore, the toxicology report indicated that Ron had a blood alcohol level of 0.16, twice the legal limit. This raised concerns, as Ron was not known to be a heavy drinker. His family suspected foul play in his untimely demise. Could he have been forced off the road? Paul Freshour, Mary's brother-in-law, strongly believed Ron had been murdered. Despite the mysterious circumstances surrounding Ron Gillespie's death, no concrete evidence suggests foul play. Sheriff Dwight Redcliffe concluded that this was a tragic accident. However, the harassment campaign did not end with Ron's tragic demise. The signs and letters continued, making shocking allegations of corruption against the sheriff and accusing the town's physician and coroner, Ray Carroll, of sexual abuse, a claim that would later be proven true, as Carroll was exposed as a serial sexual abuser a decade later. Mary Gillespie eventually confessed to her affair with Gordon Massey to end the relentless torment, claiming it had begun only after her husband's death. But even this revelation failed to quell the severe harassment. Then, on February 7, 1983, Mary encountered a sign along her bus route that vividly described an alleged affair between Massey and her daughter, Tracy. Determined to remove the sign, she discovered a horrifying trap, a handgun concealed within a small wooden box connected to a string. This deadly setup was meant to take anyone's life who dared to remove the sign. Although an attempt had been made to obliterate the weapon's serial number, investigators at Ohio's Bureau of Criminal Investigation managed to recover it. The serial number led authorities to a man named Wesley, who worked at a local Columbus Anheuser-Busch brewery. However, Wesley claimed he had sold the gun to a supervisor and hadn't possessed it for some time. And who was this supervisor? None other than Paul Freshour, Mary and Ron's brother-in-law. As the investigation unfolded, Paul Freshour maintained his innocence, asserting that the handgun had been stolen from him weeks before and that he believed he was being framed. However, investigators grew skeptical, especially when their new suspect failed a polygraph test. To further their case, officers presented a few of the Circleville letters to Ron Gillespie, asking him to replicate the distinctive block lettering in his own handwriting. Ron complied with this request. After careful examination, the sheriff determined that Ron's writing was a perfect match for that of the Circleville letter writer, leading to Paul's prompt arrest. Paul Freshour was ultimately found guilty of attempted murder and sentenced to the maximum term of 7 to 25 years in prison. However, the story of the Circleville letters did not conclude with Paul's imprisonment. Mysteriously, more anonymous letters arrived at homes in Circleville and central Ohio, even while Paul was behind bars. This left both authorities and citizens baffled. In a shocking turn of events, Paul became the recipient of these letters. This raised the question, was the right person truly behind bars? Doubts began to surface about Paul's guilt. Some wondered if he had an accomplice, while others speculated about the possibility of an opportunistic copycat. The mystery surrounding the Circleville letters has persisted for decades, giving rise to numerous theories and potential suspects. As per Karen's account, Paul Freshour harbored resentment towards Mary Gillespie for her alleged involvement with Ron Gillespie, and may have seen her as responsible for Ron's tragic death. This could have served for his motivation for a campaign of harassment against her. However, some questions emerged that cast doubt on this theory. If Paul knew that his identity hinged solely on a serial number, would he have risked discovery by haphazardly filing it off? And would he use his own gun in the first place? Karen Freshour, Paul's ex-wife, was another figure scrutinized in this perplexing case. Her gain from Paul's imprisonment was substantial, as she regained custody of their children, home, and savings. Later, revelations hinted at another layer to this complex story. Paul's belief that their son, Mark, was responsible for the gun's theft, but chose not to disclose this information at the time, perhaps to protect his son from trouble. It was rumored that Paul suspected Mark and Karen of conspiring against him. David Longberry, who had been romantically rejected by Mary and harbored resentment toward her and her connection with Massey, emerged as another potential suspect. Some believe he could have been the original Circleville writer, with others possibly capitalizing on the situation once he ceased writing the poison pen letters. Longberry eventually left Circleville after being caught sexually assaulting a young girl in 1999, ending his life shortly after that. The possibility remains that the anonymous writer was entirely different, acting alone or conspiring with one of the individuals above. Could multiple people have been involved? These theories remain plausible, but the whole truth may forever elude us. Nearly 5 decades since the discovery of the initial letter, it continues to ignite passionate debate and intense scrutiny. Who do you think was the actual author of these letters? Let us know in the comments. Check out our other videos for more shocking crime stories, and subscribe to our channel for more updates.